everyone. This is Hattie. Just a reminder that the live stream starts in 2 minutes.
Patty, are you on?
I am on. Are you ready for me to let people in?
Can you, if you can hear me, please send me your text.
Hi, Rabbi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi.
Can you please, I need to communicate with you. Your number?
Oh, yes. 858.
Hold on one second. Sorry, everyone. Excuse us for this.
Sorry.
858.
776.
Sorry, say it again.
776.
Yes. Oh, got it.
1377. Yes. Are you ready for me to let everyone in?
pink.
Good afternoon. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Welcome. For those of you that came in while we were in the back there, I hope you grabbed a prayer book on the way in so you can follow along. And if you didn't, they're on the carols on the shelf units in the back, and maybe some guys in the back can grab a bunch of books and just pass them around. I don't mind while I'm singing the opening song. Go ahead and get a prayer book. So we are, living in a weird Zoom time. So we welcome all of you that are watching on Zoom as well. For those of you that are in our sanctuary, as difficult as it is not to be consumed and watch the screens, try to stay with us. We're right here. Sofie and family will be right over there. And we are happy to be leading you in prayer this morning. Now that I've told everybody to get prayer books, I'm going to get mine. Obviously, I forgot. We're going to start this afternoon with Hine Matov, Psalm 133. It's on page 10 in your prayer book. And if you know this song, please sing along. Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
How good it is, how pleasant it is when we can come together and celebrate on this beautiful Shabbat day, and particularly when we can take in this Havdalah service, coming to the conclusion of the Sabbath, moving into the week and use this opportunity to welcome a young person. Sofie Rose Ciporen is taking on her responsibilities as a bat mitzvah, literally daughter of the commandments. Sofie's going to be leading us in our service today. She's going to be reading the prayers. She will be reading from the Torah scroll in a while. She'll be doing some teaching for us. She's got a rather busy little bit of time ahead of her. And we all have a responsibility as well. We who are here and all of us who are joining on Zoom, we are the community that has the responsibility of welcoming Sofie into this time of Jewish responsibility. So we want to start by making sure everyone here is welcome, a part of the community. Please turn to someone around you, even someone sitting a little bit of a distance from you, wave to them, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and welcome them to our service. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Shabbat Shalom.
Those of you on Zoom, you could put something in the chat.
Yes.
Anything that you put in the chat, we'll ask Sofie not to look at now, but it'll all be recorded and they can see it all later.
So we welcome all of those conversations and connections. For those I haven't had a chance to meet yet, I'm Rabbi Kahana, Cantor Kahana. We're going to be leading the service along with Sofie. That's Sofie, if you haven't met her before. I think most of you have. As we are all together in this process, we are, of course, in this very strange time of COVID and the increased infections that are going on right now, including breakthrough infections. So we thank you very much for maintaining social distance, for keeping your masks on. We're going to invite, when Sofie is leading, for her to take her mask off so that she can really communicate with you, but we are maintaining our distance from her, even though we would really love to be able to give her a hug because we're so proud of her. To begin our service, we're going to turn in our prayer books to page 67, and I'd like to invite Jeremy Gaines to please come up to the pulpit over on this side and to read an opening reading for us, page 67.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Amen.
Thank you so much. The walls of our synagogue are greatly expanded through the electronic means. We have a lot of family who are watching on Zoom. We want to welcome everybody from all over the place, from New York, California, Florida, Minnesota, Arizona, Washington, D.C. Everybody's coming together just for you, Sofie. And amazing that we can be all together along with all of our dear family and friends here in Portland, Oregon. We're going to turn now to page 220. I'd like to invite our Bat Mitzvah celebrant to come up to the pulpit and lead us in the reading of Ashrei.
Page 220.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha od yehalelucha selah.
Ashrei ha'am shekach lo, Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, aromimcha Elohai hamelech, va'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Bechol yom avachecha, והלנה שמך לעולם ועד.
Gadol Adonai Hulal Me'od, Belik Gulato Ein Hecher.
דוי לדוי ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
Hadar Chavod Hodecha, Vedivrei Niflotecha Hasicha.
וסוס נורותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך אספרנה.
Zacheravtucha Yabiu, Betirchatcha Yaranenu.
חנון ברחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וחסד.
Tov Adonai Lechol, Verachamav Al Kol Ma'asav.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
Kevod Malchutcha Yomeru, Gvurodcha Yadaberu.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד האדם מלכותו.
Malchutcha Malchut Kol Amim, Umemshaltecha Bekol Dor Vador.
סומך אדוני לכל הנוטרים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
Einecho Elecha Yasaberu, Ve'ata Noten Lahem Et Achlam Be'ito.
פותח את ידיך, ומשפיע לכל חי רצון.
Sadich Adonai Bechol Derchav, Bechasid Bechol Ma'asav.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
Retzon Yareav Yahaseh, Ve'et Shavatam Yishma Ve'yoshiem.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל רשעים ישמיד.
Tehilat Adonai Yadaber Pi, Ve'varecho Bashar Shem Kosho Le'olam Va'ed. Va'anachnu Nevarach Yah, Me'ata Ve'od Olam, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, we exclaim at the end of this beautiful kind of a dialogue that Sofie and I just had, expressing the magnificence of our Creator. And now we're just going to go on praising God as we turn to page 224. I'll ask everyone who is able, please rise for Hatzi Kaddish, page 224. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמד ברכירותי וימליך מלכותי.
Bechayechon uv yomechon uv chaye dechol be'Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv.
וימרו.
Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam le'olmei omaya yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
Brichu.
בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma.
וימרו.
Amen.
Amen.
We continue on page 226 with the tefillah. Adonai sefatai tifta ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vechonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Laman Shemo Bechava. Melech lechozer umoshia umagain. Baruch atah Adonai magain Avraham bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai mechaye hakol atah ra lechoshia. Morid atol mehakel hayim bechesed mechaye hakol berachamim rabim somech noflim berofei cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar micha mocha bael gevurot umido melech mimid umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'neiman atah lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol.
As Sophie goes back to stand at her seat with her prayer book, I'm going to continue with the sanctification, the Kedusha, found on page 232.
מקדיש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. ותורפת ונגיגות לך, ונצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, ליבנו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, העיר הקדוש.
To all generations, we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Please be seated as we continue on page 234. Atah echad v'shimcha echad umi ke'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. You are one, and your name is one, and there is none like your people Israel. A people unique on earth, a garland of glory have you given us, a crown of salvation, a day of rest and holiness. Abraham and Sarah rejoiced in it, Isaac and Rebekah sang, Jacob and Rachel and Leah and their children were refreshed by its rest, a rest of love freely given, a rest of truth and faithfulness, a rest of peace and serenity, tranquility and security, a perfect rest which you so desire. May your children come to know that the sacred rest links them to you, and through their rest they sanctify your name. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat.
Amen. Sophie, before you sit down, could you just hold up your prayer book like that? So you see how her prayer book is kind of a light blue and mine is kind of a dark blue, like yours, right? So in all of our prayer books, the dark blue ones, we have transliteration of the Hebrew, but she doesn't. So everything that she's been chanting that she has worked so hard for, straight Hebrew, all the way. And you'll see later when she reads from the Torah scroll that there even aren't any vowels in that Torah scroll that she studied so hard to learn from. So I want to acknowledge, especially during this extraordinary time when our kids are learning via Zoom and it's a very intense and pressured time, that she just took this on with so much grace and enthusiasm. Now you can sit down.
If you weren't impressed before, be impressed. We continue on page 236. V'tzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael u'tfilatam b'hava tekabel u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel. Accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. O God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants, pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Turn to page 240. We offer, as we do at every prayer service, an opportunity to ask God for peace for ourselves, our families, our community, peace for all the world. Shalom Rav, great and abundant peace for us all. We've had this time of prayer using the words that are in our prayer book. Some of these words are very ancient. Some of them are very new. But the prayer that is the most significant is the prayer that is in each of our hearts individually. We're going to take just a moment now for you to be able to meditate. Those of us in our sanctuary can appreciate the beauty of this space. Those of you at home, wherever you are, take a moment to just be able to reflect, find your place of gratitude, your place of meaning, as we take a moment of silent prayer. Peace in the high heavens, make peace for us, for all the people Israel and all who inhabit the earth. And we say, Amen. We turn now in our prayer books to page 244 as we begin Seder Kriyat Torah Shabbat, our service for reading from the Torah scroll, page 244. None like you among the gods, Adonai, no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns, Adonai has reigned, Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. We rise, and I invite those who are participating in the Torah pass through the generations to please come forward. Welcome. Put your books down, please. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, the strangers in your cities. You're here to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. And let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God.
He
so proud to have you stand here today, standing before our Torah scrolls, the symbol of the Jewish people, the symbol of our teachings. From generation to generation, we have held on to these teachings, Sofie. And you are standing here today getting ready to accept these ideals that have been a part of our people for thousands of years. You're wearing the talit that your mother wore for her bat mitzvah. So we are connecting even in that realm, this idea of what it means for each of us to take these responsibilities on. She and your dad created a beautiful Jewish family for you from the traditions that they received. You have your grandparents standing with you as well, and standing by online on Zoom, we have your grandfather, Fred Ciporen, and would like to invite, Fred, if you're able to unmute yourself, we'd like to invite you to, if you have a word or two of blessings for your beautiful granddaughter, this would be a good time. It's the unmuting that can be the problem. Are you able to spotlight him? Welcome. Are you unmuted?
Are you talking to me?
We are.
Yes.
Would you like to say a word to your granddaughter?
My granddaughter is extremely beautiful, good-hearted, and very smart. And when you hear her speech, you will see that she understands nuance. And someone who understands nuance understands tolerance and getting along with people. She's brilliant. She is very special. Sofie, I'm so proud of you. You are just such a special person. So mazel tov, and welcome to being the full member of our Jewish community.
Beautiful mazel tov to you.
Amen.
And to all of your family. Amen, amen. What a great blessing. We're so glad that you could join us. Sofie, we're going to now take this Torah scroll and pass it through the hands of your mother, to your grandparents, and to you as we go from generation to generation. And hold your Torah scroll proudly. Don't hold it, don't take the weight. We'll just, everybody's going to keep waiting for you. We'll just pass it through your arms. Sofie's going to hold it for real. Okay. And Jackson, can you bring a prayer book for her to read?
Page 248. On
Sofie,
page
you're going to say the Shema. Nice and loud.
Oh, right.
It's okay. Either prayer book.
It's still the Shema, no matter what prayer book we use. Nice and loud for everybody.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Shema
Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol, Adonai Kadem Shemo.
Gadelul Adonai iti, uneru memashemo yachdav.
Good. Theo, I'm going to invite you to come up here and to help undress the Torah scroll. So I'll bring it to the other podium, and you can undress the Torah scroll, and we'll prepare to read.
Lecha Adonai hagedul hagedura hatiferet yanetzach ta'ud. Yichol bashamayim va'aretz, yichol bashamayim va'aretz. Lecha Adonai amata, yanit na'aseh lecha
Theo?
The Torah portion we are reading that Sophie's going to be chanting for us is already next week's Torah portion. Once we finish Shabbat morning, we are ready to start reading the next week in preparation. We're always preparing for Shabbat. So she's reading a little bit ahead from the Torah portion Kitavo, which is in the book of Deuteronomy. She's going to explain it to us in a little bit, but I want to point out this Torah portion begins with a ceremony that the Israelites were to perform when they come into the land. And we're going to hear a little bit about that. The other thing I wanted to point out, I'm going to do something a little bit radical here. Excuse me, guys. I just want everybody to be able to see. I'm going to bring this camera over. Patty, can you just spotlight this camera for us? Cantor mentioned that she's going to be reading the Hebrew. Point to where you're starting. See if I can get a good image of it over here. There we go. We don't normally have a sticky in there. But for those of you who are Hebrew readers, you'll notice that it's Cantor said, she's chanting directly from Hebrew, no cheating, and also it is without any vowels, punctuation, or anything to indicate how the melody is sung. The Torah scroll is written in the same way as it's been done for thousands of years, and the tradition of chanting it is a very ancient one. So I want to make sure that you are sufficiently impressed and be able to see exactly what it is that she's going to be chanting for us. We are going to invite people to come and to say blessings as we begin the Torah reading. We call Fred and Barbara Gaines for the first Aliyah. Bless, you have a sheet?
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bacha barnu mikol ha'amin. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'haya ki tavo el haaretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala birishta ve'yashavta ba ve'lakachta mereshit kol peri ha'adema asher tavi me'artzecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach v'samta v'tene v'halachta el hamakom asher yivchar Adonai Elohecha leshakein shemo sham uvata el hakohen asher yihyeh bayamim hahem ve'amarta elav higadati hayom l'Adonai Elohecha kivati el haaretz asher nishba Adonai lavotenu latet lanu.
Beautiful. And the second blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Mazel
Mazel tov to
tov.
you. Thank you. You can go back to your seats. Thank you so much. Go slowly down. There's a handrail on the other side. We call Jackson Ciporen for the second Aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Lo Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Amim Venatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Belacha HaKohen Hatene miyadecha vehi nicho livnei Mizbach Adonai Eloheinu Vanitach livnei Adonai Eloheinu Arami Oved Avi Vayared Misraima Vayagar Sham Bimtei Me'at Vahisham Legoy Gadol Atzum Berav Vayareu Otanu Hamitrim Vayanunu Aleinu Avodah Chashah.
And the second blessing.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Chaye Olam Nata Betoheinu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Nice job.
We call Jeremy and Amanda Ciporen for the third Aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Venatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vanitzach El Adonai Elohei Avoteinu Vayishma Adonai et Koleinu Vayar et Aneinu Ve'omaleinu Ve'lachatzeinu Vayotzienu Adonai Mimitraim Beyad Chazekah Uvizroa Netuya Uvmora Gadol Uvotod Uvmofetim Vivienu El Hamakom Hazeh Viten Lanu Eharetz Hazot Eretz Avat Chalav Udvash.
Beautiful.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Chaye Olam Natan B'Tocheinu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Now the blessings are on page 250. Jackson, could you go grab her prayer book again? It's in the back there. And turn to page 250.
Our bat mitzvah celebrant, Sofie Rose Ciporen, will have the final Aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Michol Ha'amim Venatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayata Hine Heveti Et Reshit Peri Ha'adema Asher Natata Li Adonai Vehichnato Lifnei Adonai Elohecha Vehishtachavita Lifnei Adonai Elohecha ושמחת בכל הטוב אשר נתן לך אדוני אלוהיך וביתך אתה והלוי והגר אשר בקרבך כי תחלה לעשר את כל מסר תבואתך בשנה השלישית שנת המעשר ונתת ללוי לגר ליתום ולאלמנה ואכלו בשעריך ושבעו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Please join us as we sing a celebration for that amazing Torah reading. Those of you who are on Zoom, we're going to invite you to unmute yourselves and sing a little Siman Tov and Mazel Tov together with us.
Siman Tov,
Mazel
Mazel
Tov,
Tov,
Mazel
Mazel
Tov,
Tov,
Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov and Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel tov, Mazel tov and Siman Tov. Ya la la
Everybody on Zoom, go ahead and mute yourselves, but thanks for the singing.
And
Spirit.
continue to put in nice words in the chat, because that's lovely. We're going to take a moment while the Torah scroll is still before us to think about those in our community who are ill. We extend to them prayers of healing and of wholeness. If there's anyone in your life who could use a prayer, you'd like to share their name with us, please do so now.
Tanisha Berach, prayer for healing, page 253.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yishebeirach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Page 256, please rise as we give honor to the Torah.
B'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai yad Moshe. La 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 la
וכתוב נתתי לכם תורתי אל תעזבו I've given you good instruction. Do not abandon my Torah. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Please be seated. As I said at the beginning of the service, we have our young people doing quite a lot for their B'nai Mitzvah service. And in this moment, we're going to invite Sofie to give a little teaching for us of reflection. As her grandfather mentioned, it sounds like he had a little preview. We're going to hear a little bit of her reflection and interpretation of her Torah portion.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is Ki Tavo, which means when you enter the land. My Torah portion begins with Moses telling the Israelites what they should do when they get to the Promised Land. Moses wasn't allowed to enter into the Promised Land because Moses once showed anger and didn't have trust in God. Moses told the Israelites that they will have to offer a portion of their first fruits to God and give it to a priest who will tell God how grateful they are for being in the Promised Land. Then Moses told the Israelites about laws, punishments, and blessings that God told them to follow. Ki Tavo focuses on the importance of a covenant, an agreement between the Israelites, themselves, and that with God. In Ki Tavo, Moses instructs the people that if they follow the laws, then things that are promised will happen. But if they break the laws, they will be cursed. And if you do break a law, then you could get diseases and/or your soil, crops, and livestock could all be cursed. As I was reading all of these curses, I wondered why the punishments were so horrible. I wondered if making the punishments so bad would make everyone so scared that nobody would even consider breaking a law. Or do they seem so extreme that people wouldn't believe it until they saw or experienced it? I've thought about this question a lot. I realized that God placed these laws so their society could function, and that the Israelites would be accountable for their actions. I also think God placed these laws so everyone would learn to be grateful. It also provided their society with structure. This is similar to the justice system we have now. If you break a law, you could be fined or even go to jail. The whole idea of being cursed if you break a law seems pretty horrible. But the biggest difference about our justice system is that nowadays, even if you break a law, you can learn from it. There are opportunities for rehabilitation. Granted, the system is not perfect, but there are opportunities for redemption and to improve oneself. Being forgiven or excused from a crime needs to come with a sense of ownership and should be earned. Next month is Yom Kippur, the one day of the year Jews atone for their sins. The first step is acknowledgement and taking ownership for our mistakes. This is the first step to making improvements in oneself and within society. People make mistakes, and that is part of being human. The punishment should fit the crime. I don't believe that the mistakes that we have made should define who we are as a person forever. I believe that God might have put these laws in place so the Israelites could learn that their actions come with responsibilities. The major difference between our justice system now and the laws dictated by God to the Israelites is that we have a government. In the United States, we have a democracy. We fight for the laws we want and don't want, but the Israelites couldn't. I also wonder, if we didn't have any laws, what would that be like? I wondered how many people would do whatever they want because they can, and how many people would still follow the laws because of what they believe in. It is also very interesting that so many things can affect your opinion and actions, such as religion, community, family, friends, social expectations, news, and the internet or social media. But most importantly is our own moral compass that we follow. A moral compass is a person's ability to judge if something is right or wrong. Even if stealing was allowed, I still wouldn't do it because I would feel guilty and horrible that I just stole from someone. But there are so many people who would steal, and they don't feel bad about it. So I think that God was on the right track with having laws and punishments, but I think that God might have gone a little too far with all the severity of the curses. There is a balance between the structure, as in our justice system, and our moral compass. In Kitavo, Israelites give 10% of their harvest to those in need. This was important for their community to help the less fortunate live their lives to the fullest. I've also done similar things over the summer. I have made lunches for the homeless, wrote letters to the elderly, and made pillowcases for people in the military. It is so important to give back to your community so you can help make the world a better place. My community is a huge part of my life. My family has been there for our community, and our community has been there for us. My community has supported me so much with the sports I play, school, and when I've been preparing for my bat mitzvah. During the pandemic, when we were all quarantined, it was so hard to still feel like I was connected with the people in my community because we couldn't see each other. I know many of you must feel the same way. I know even though things have improved, it has been hard to get back to how life was before. My Torah Portion Kitavo is still relevant to our society today. It talks about being grateful and appreciating everything we have. We all need to remember to be thankful for every day and our health, good and loving friends, and family. Despite being written so long ago, my Torah Portion has relevance to the social and political issues we talk about today. Now that I am a bat mitzvah, I can say that this experience has taught me so much about Judaism, and I know that I have only touched on the surface. I still have so many more questions to be answered. I'm so grateful that I can have my bat mitzvah with everyone in person so we can all grow closer as a community again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Sofie. Just turn towards me a little bit. Thank you for those beautiful words and for your reflection on this idea of justice, which is probably something you've never had to really think about a lot before. I appreciate that you were really willing to dig into this, and as your grandfather said to us, that you were looking at the nuance, trying to understand the realities of this very complicated idea and the necessity to have laws and regulations that hold, that bind our society together. We've all been living through a very difficult time throughout this pandemic. And so much of what we have done has turned us all inward, isolated us, and we tend to think only about our own needs. Kitavo and all of these other laws remind us of our responsibility to be in community, to be a part of a society. And you is taking on a bat mitzvah, this responsibility of being counted, being an adult member of the community, is part of what this all means. That you are that you're not on the outside watching. This isn't Zoom, this is life. You are in the community. And we are really grateful that we are able to be here and be a part of this celebration of you taking on these beautiful Jewish responsibilities. Sofie, you are a young lady with so many wonderful talents. You are independent, is the way your family describes you. You have a direction, and you have a surety about it. You are artistic. I heard a little bit about your oil painting, taking on the hard stuff, doing oil painting. Athletic with your soccer and your lacrosse. Your family described you to me as a powerful and hard worker and a leader, but also importantly, a kind, empathetic, and sweet soul, a good friend to your friends and someone who's filled with a lot of positive energy. As your family described it, you love to laugh and you love to make other people laugh. You bring a joy to all of those around you. Your brother Jackson said to me that you are independent and assertive and almost controlling at times. And he appreciates that you definitely like to make your opinion known. He says you are caring, a great sister, and that you help out well, and he admires how hard-working you are, how organized and prepared. Theo described you as kind and funny, and he appreciates that you make a really good mac and cheese. Sofie, these have been difficult times for all of us. And I think for young people like you, a lot of resiliency that you had to bring forward, and you've done it really beautifully. You've had this ability to make changes within yourself, having the courage and the ability to make those changes within yourself during times that were undefined. No one really knew how to tell you how to make your way, but you have found your path. And coming forward as a bat mitzvah today, being a leader, being a teacher, holding on to this idea of justice and the pursuit of justice is really something we appreciate very greatly. Our prayer for you today as you stand here as a bat mitzvah is that you will always know who you are, not let other people define you. Hold on to your confidence, your love of yourself, and love of your family. And as your family says, keep moving, keep going, keep growing, keep finding these ideals that you search for, and make the world a more holy and blessed place. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will, we say. Amen. Sofie, we're also very proud of you, and I know you're going to hear a lot from your family and friends here and on Zoom, and perhaps even a few presents along the way. But we have a special privilege here at Temple to be among the first to give you some gifts. So if you look on the bottom shelf, you'll see a big white envelope and a box down the bottom on the right. You take that out. Thank you. So in that envelope is the certificate that we signed together a little while ago. It declares you as a bat mitzvah in our congregation and all over the Jewish world. Wherever you go, you know you have a people, you have a connection, you have a place where you belong. There's also inside that envelope a gift certificate from the Middleton Jewish Community Center of a one-year membership, and also to the Holocaust Museum, the Jewish Museum and Center for Holocaust Research, which also is giving you membership for a year. Remind you that you're part of community and all of the great institutions we have. And lastly, there is a certificate that will help you towards a trip to Israel for you to take in your junior year, along with your Beth Israel classmates. That is support from National Federation of Temple Youth, also from the Krzyzewski Fund of the Jewish Community Foundation and the Jewish Federation of Greater Portland, all coming together to help you to, at the right time, to be able to make a trip to Israel. Hopefully, you'll all be able to travel more easily soon, and that you'll be able to experience what that is like, what it is to be a part of our Jewish homeland. And so enjoy those gifts. And wait, there's one other thing very important. In that box, you'll see, you can actually open it up from the top. There is a beautiful Kiddush cup with your name on it. There you go. Oh, and it's still wrapped. But it has your name engraved on there and the date of your bat mitzvah. So it's a way of reminding us, a first piece of Judaica for you to have, and a way to remember this day and the great celebration that we're having together. Those are for you. And one more gift that we want to give you, Sofie. This is the gift of a blessing on behalf of the community. I'll invite everyone to please rise. Have your parents open the ark, and Sofie, come up to the ark for us. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine upon you and shine through you. May God's face always be turned towards you. May God grant you great peace in a world at peace. Close the ark, please. Let's go back to your seats. Come on. Close the ark open. And you can go back to your seats. We remain standing as we turn to page 282 for our lady. Now, if you close the ark, thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We honor the memories of those who have recently died in our community: Julie Diamond, Ruth Joy Hartzman, Gerald Maiden, Lucy Shapiro. And we honor on this special Shabbat the memories of Irving and Esther Ciporen, Tobet and George Dorshow, Rose and Manny Gaines, Naftali and Esther Trokin. If anyone else is honoring a yortzeit and you'd like to share their name with us, please do so now. Memories of all of them are with us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled. We turn to page 294 and rise. Together we say the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, v'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all the people Israel, and to all of the world. And we say, Amen. Please be seated. Mazel tov to you, Sofie. Mazel tov to all of your family and friends. What a great joy it is to be together to celebrate this time. We look forward to many more joyful celebrations. Theo's bar mitzvah is in 2024, so with God's help, we'll all be together, maybe even without masks. But we hopefully will have celebrations such as that and others that we can share together. We are going to conclude our service with a ceremony of Havdalah, a ceremony of distinction. This is a movement from the end of Shabbat, from the Sabbath, into the rest of the week. We honor the week. The week is important. We do all of our work. We do all of our learning. We do all the things that we need to do during that time period. But we also want to hold on to the ideals of Shabbat, this concept of something that is greater, a day of rest, a day of contemplation, a day of connection to the divine. And so we hold on to Shabbat for as long as we can, and we use some of the same elements to conclude the Sabbath as we used when we began. So we'll see. I'm going to invite your family to come on up. Theo, come and join us up here. We have a couple of different elements. So if you take the Kiddush cup that's over there, please. That's going to be for you. And we also have candles. Just as we started the Sabbath with the candlelight, we're going to conclude with this braided candle. We hold that up for everybody to see. Amanda's going to hold that. This beautiful candle that is like a torch to light us through darkened times. And Theo, take hold of that, the spice box. This is to remind us of the smells of the Sabbath that hold on to the memory. We hope that our memory of this time will really remain with us. I'm going to invite everyone to please stand, and our service of Havdalah is on page 306.
You can go ahead and light the candle. So last night at the beginning of the Sabbath, we light at least two candles. This Havdalah candle has a braided 3 wicks. There we go.
Adonai, Shemaim besasomi meinea Yeshua. L'Adonai ha-Yeshua, alam chavecha tekasela. Adonai tzudimanu, miskavlanu Elohei hakopsela. Adonai tzvaot, ashrei adam botech ba. Adonai Hoshia, melech yaneinu v'yom koreinu.
Hold the candle up, please.
L'Yehudi baita, ora b'simcha b'sason vikar. Ein tlelanu.
Lift up the Kiddush cup.
Kol sishuot esah, u'b'shem Adonai ekra.
You can take off your mask.
We're now continuing on page 308 with the blessings.
Yeah, you can put it down.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, borei peri hagafen.
La 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 la
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei vasamim, borei minei vasamim.
So before we lie, you just said a blessing over spices, right? You made the samim. Theo, you got the spices, right? So give it a little shake, and then you can like tip your mask a little, and so you can smell it. Everybody needs to smell. You can pass it to your family because you guys pod together. Take a whiff of the beautiful spices, and we will sing la la. La 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei ma'orei ha'esh, borei ma'orei ha'esh.
So the prayer we just said was about recognizing the light. So custom is to hold our hands up to the light even if we're far away and see if you can see the flames, the flame light on your fingernails or between your fingers. You see the difference between light and shadow, and we see the flames flickering, the idea of recognizing the beauty of this time, the light and the darkness, the Shabbat and the rest of the week, all of the distinctions that we make, and we thank God for the ability to make distinctions, that we have a mind that can see the difference between things.
We're now on page 310.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol ben l'choshen ben Yisrael l'amim ben yom hashvi l'sheshet yimei hama'aseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol. Sofie, take a sip of the grape juice.
We're going to use one more of our senses. We're going to listen very carefully as we put the light out in the grape juice. Hold it kind of near the microphone if you can, over in front of you, Sofie. We're going to listen for that sizzle to go out. Nicely done. And we now mark that as our transition time as we enter the week.
Hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol Atoneinu imchol Zareinu v'chaspeinu Ya'er kachol Ve'akochavim b'layla.
This is where usually you take hands. So if you're with people that you know and you want to, you can take hands. And
put your arm around somebody. And we're singing Shavua Tov. May it be a good week. Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hakiladi, Imera B'Yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu, God of our ancestors and God of our descendants, we thank you for this Shabbat. We thank you for the week that is to come. We thank you for the opportunity to welcome a young person taking on these Jewish responsibilities. We thank you for the laws and for the justice that holds us together as community. May we go forward. May we hold on to our ideals. May we hold on to the justice that helps to make our society fair and right and righteous. May we be among those who help to bring peace to a broken world. Will God give strength to our people. Will God bless us all with peace. Amen. Shavua Tov. Welcome. Those who are on Zoom, you're welcome to unmute so we can see you and get a chance to wish a Shavua Tov and a Mazel Tov to Sofie.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov, Sofie.
Love, Sofie. We love you.
Mazel
From Brooklyn.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel
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 Tov.
Mazel
Tov,
Sofie. Mazel tov.
Mazel
tov.
Congratulations. You did a fabulous job. Marcia and Jeff in Los Angeles. We miss you guys.
Fabulous job, Sofie. We love you.
Yay.
Mazel tov, Sofie.
Picture's gonna come up.
Wish we could all be together.
Mazel tov, Sofie. Wonderful job.
Congratulations. We wish we were there with you.
Terrific job,
Wonderful.
Joel and Stan. Wonderful job.
Wonderful bat mitzvah, Sofie.
Congratulations, Sofie.
Good job.
Mazel tov, Sofie, and to the whole family.
You just muted it.
Mazel tov to you and to all of the
You
Ciporens.
muted it.
Great job.
Proud of you.
Okay.
Mazel tov, Soph. Love you. Good job.
Sofie, can you hear me?
Command A. Hit Command A.
No,
Command.
no. Yes, you're unmuted. We can hear you. Go for it.
I would like to get a word in, but it might take 20 or 30 minutes to get it in. Do you have time?
We have time.
That was such a beautiful. I wish you could all read Sofie's speech. It was hard to hear her on my thing, but I'm very proud because she thinks. Sofie makes me so proud. I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for us. So I love all of you. And thank you for all